Can a robot play ULTRAKILL? Can a robot beat ULTRAKILL without guns? Can you?
ULTRAKILL is a game with a wide variety of weapons and synergies between them. Now, what if we took those away? If you're unaware of the changes that come with harder difficulties, brutal difficulty makes enemies attack faster, increases their health, and changes enemy movesets. It also increases projectile speed by 200%. I'll be speeding through the first few levels as they are nothing special and are just there for tutorial. While that plays, I'll go over the game plan for this run. We obviously can't use guns, which leaves our only forms of damage as punching, which does a laughable amount of damage most of the time, and parrying, which does significantly more. At the end of the first level, we meet our first boss, which is dealt with fairly quickly. I won't be introducing every new enemy encounter unless I feel they change the way I approach an encounter, because I don't want this video to last an hour. All the enemies are dealt with in the same way, punching them, obviously. Level 3 introduces us to our first actual boss, the Swords Machine. His moveset isn't anything too crazy since it's still the tutorial phase. Just a few slashes from a sword and a shotgun. Just parry him and you'll be good. His second phase has him getting a speed boost, and the loss of his arm causes him to almost exclusively use his sword, but again, just parry and it should be over quick. Level 4 is still nothing special, just more enemies. Just punch them, they die. Now, the final level of the Prologue. This level is the bane of my existence, probably one of the hardest in the entire challenge. This is the level we're introduced to Cerberus. Cerberus got the most buffs from his standard mode counterpart. His dash now goes across the entire arena, and he gets to dash twice. The projectile speed is insane to react to, and his stomp attack now has 2 shockwaves to jump over. The strategy I landed on was fairly simple. Just stand in a far corner as he wakes up and wait for him to throw the ball. Parry the ball a couple times until he gets too close, then try and go to another corner to repeat the process. This works fine until around half health, where another Cerberus spawns in, and you have to deal with 2 of them at the same time. This is where you just wing it and hope for the best. Stay in corners and pray that one of them throws the ball for a quick parry. After this level, we can finally start on the real levels. Level 1-1 is back to the norm, nothing too special. It introduces a new enemy which does nothing, and introduces Cerberus as a regular enemy, but don't worry as they are significantly weaker than their boss fight variant. 1-2 brings in the street cleaner enemies. These guys have flamethrowers and are completely unparryable. Now you might be wondering what the strategy for dealing with them is, since they go against our entire strategy of parrying as much as possible. It's just punching wildly and hoping for the best, really. 1-3 is the longest level we've seen thus far, with quite a few gauntlets of enemies we must defeat in order to progress. And after we do all of that, the reward is the worst boss in the entire game, the Hideous Mass. The Hideous Mass shoots you with a stinger to slow you down significantly and prevent jumping. This normally wouldn't be too much of an issue, as you can just shoot off the stinger fairly easily. However, with your fists, it is incredibly difficult to actually hit it. You can parry the stinger before it hits you, but it's pretty difficult and I'm not that good at this game. Other than that, his attacks are annoying but not awful. He shoots some slow projectiles into the air that you can parry. It slams to the ground and causes a horizontal or vertical shockwaves that lifts you into the air. Just keep attacking his tail and you'll be good. His second phase just has him shooting only those slow projectiles, so just parry those and he'll go down. 1-4 wants you to grab 3 skulls to get to the only enemy encounter on the level, but only losers do that. Now we fight V2. V2 is a coward and brought a gun to a fist fight. It's a difficult fight. V2 is very quick and rambunctious with their attacks, but they have quite a few parryable attacks, like the revolver and shotgun shots. Once you've got all that down, you can basically do this fight without moving. V2 runs and I took the arm that I already had. With that, we enter my favorite layer of the game, Lust. 2-1 starts off with the big bridge and a lot more falling. 2-2 is where the real Lust begins. It introduces us to the soldier enemy, which is immune to explosions, including the Knuckle Blaster's second boom, but again, just punch them hard and they die. 2-3 is an interesting level. It's got quite a few gauntlets and a mini-boss in the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer can shoot 5 homing skulls at you, a big laser, and can just kick you in the face. Oh, and of course she can teleport too. She gets enraged at around half health where she does the same things but faster. Killing her is just as simple as parrying one of the skulls and punching her when she does her beam. Naturally, when she dies, she also explodes, so watch out for that. 2-4 has one of my other least favorite fights in the game, a big hand. The hand is extremely easy, but it takes forever. Just wait for it to attack the ground and hit it when it's extended its fingers. The corpse of King Minos is easy too. Just parry his fist and... let's try that again. Just parry his fist and you should be golden. Also don't touch his black hole, because only an idiot would actually die to that. 3-1 is the culmination of everything we've seen thus far. There's level hazards, every enemy, and many, many gauntlets. But again, just punch enemies and just they'll die. 3-2 is the final level of Act 1. There are no enemies except for the boss.
You insignificant fuck!
Gabriel has a lot of moves, and almost all of them are parryable. He charges with a spear and teleports above you to throw it. He has two versions of sword slashes where one of them ends in him throwing the sword and the other ends in him charging in with it. And finally, one where he just throws two axes at you. Phase 2 has him put swords in a circle around him that sometimes shoot at you. His spear charge is now a double charge or slam, and he then teleports to throw it. And his sword throw move now teleports him away before he throws it. Once you get the timings down and are able to actually keep up with him, Gabriel goes down with a fight. It takes a while. With Gabriel defeated, we enter Act 2's first level and my least favorite layer of the game. Greed starts off fairly simple with just a couple of cannon fodder, then introduces us to the Virtue enemy. The Virtues are completely different from anything we've seen so far. They don't have any parryable attack. Instead, they shoot beams of light down upon us from anywhere on the map, and they get enraged if they survive over a certain period of time. They will consistently be a pain in my side throughout the entire rest of the run. The final gauntlet of the level grants us the power up to shoot two guns at once. Amazing. It spawns in more enemies to account for this as well, and unfortunately it does not give me, more fists, as awesome as that would be. It spawns in multiple Virtues, Cerberus, and tons of cannon fodder to the point where I can just swing wildly and just get healed. This Cerberus had such bad aim that it actually made it impossible to parry him. 4-2 continues the theme that 4-1 started, with enemies that it will spend an entire paragraph to complain about. It also adds on to that by adding a whole new mechanic that will make my life a living hell. I'm of course referring to the Stalker enemy and the Sand mechanic. Sand covers an enemy and prevents bleeding, which means preventive healing on my part. Stalkers apply sand to enemies in an area around them. I'm sure you can connect the dots on why that's bad for someone who has no ranged attacks to deal with the Stalkers before they reach a target. Anyways, we go through the level, yada yada, get the skulls, put them in, do the thing. Do the gauntlets of enemies, the huge. With both skulls placed, we now have to fight the Sisyphinian Insurrectionist, which I will not be dealing with. 4-3 is the dark level where you have to carry a torch with you and light stuff to progress. It's nothing too noteworthy until the first big gauntlet, where you can choose how many enemies you can fight at once. I'm not a pussy, so of course I fight them all at once and lose. I did not learn from that and try it again, and won this time because I'm not a pussy. The final gauntlet of this level is one of the worst in the game. There's tons of enemies in it that will be shooting random projectiles, Virtues across the entire thing, and of course Stalkers. This gauntlet sucks dick, and I hate it. This took a lot longer than it should have, but we can finally move on to the final level of Greed and get out of this light layer. The final level of Greed has our long-awaited rematch with V2. V2 now has an expanded moveset with more guns and abilities, including V2 will spam that move over and over again. And when they do end up using another weapon, they are significantly more aggressive than the first fight. They'll run at you with a shotgun, a minigun, anything and everything. They'll be on your ass the entire time. The coin toss move is the hardest to dodge, and as you may have guessed, is the one they use the most in my experience. Because of their aggressiveness and the coins, you will have to move around a lot more this time. But after enough trial and error, you can beat phase 1. Phase 2 is a lot easier with V2 actually running away from you most of the time. But just chase him and you punch him. That's it, just punch him. And with that, we finish Greed. 5-1 is fairly standard with a few gauntlets and skulls used to open a door. Had a few hiccups here and there, but nothing too crazy. The last section of the level, however, greets us with the sentry enemies. Sentries dig into the ground and charge up a high damaging beam. The only way to stop them is to hit them out of the ground using the Knuckle Blaster. You can try to parry the shot, but it's very hard. The sentries by themselves are not hard to handle at all. Just punch one, punch the other, punch one, etc, etc. However, when they're combined with other enemies as shown here, they become #1 target for hatred and despair. 5-2 isn't anything too special until it shows off the new idol thing. It chooses an enemy to make invincible until you destroy the idol. The next room makes a street cleaner immortal and forces us to kill all other enemies in order to open the case that hides the idol. Immediately after killing the street cleaner, more enemies spawned and now a virtue is immortal, which is really obnoxious since it'll get enraged and you have to deal with 2 Cerberei as well, which take a while to kill. The next encounter is easy since you can just whiplash the skull and die and you're good. And now we fight the true encounter of the level. The Ferryman doesn't have a crazy moveset, but he has a very limited number of parryable attacks. You can definitely tell I have less practice on him than any of the other story bosses. But besides the annoying ass lightning explosion, he's not that bad after you learn the timings. 5-3 is an extremely long level. So many gauntlets of enemies that I'm too lazy to go over. After grabbing the first skull, you deal with yet another immortal virtue plus a ton of enemies. This other one that you're expected to use the double gun power up again. It's got sentries, Cerberus, Mind Flayer, Virtue, just all of the enemies, all of them. After that though, the level is much simpler. Just one gauntlet left and you can run past the rest of the enemies, or try to at least. 5-4 ends off the Wrath layer with the Leviathan fight. Leviathan has never been a difficult fight. He shoots tons of bullets, so just parry them and he'll die, right? Oh, and dodge his tail, but that should be it. This was my first time fighting this guy since the update, and I was completely unaware that he was even changed. It's not longer, what? It's not longer just punch. Oh. It's no longer just punch the little man on him. He has an actual phase 2 now. Yeah, no, it's still just punching the little man. Even without any knowledge of his new moves, I just stood on his neck and punched as much as I could. 6-1 starts with a jump scare. After recovering from that, you can continue the level. Moving to the first gauntlet, it's pretty easy, just a bunch of soldiers shoot at you. Moving on to the next gauntlet, it has a handful of enemies. The sentries and the sword machine phase isn't too bad, and the virtue plus 2 heads is dealt with pretty quickly too. And skipping the next fights, we finally reach the final part of the level. 2 hideous masses, 2 of them. This fight alone took longer than the entire rest of the level. I hate it so much. Oh, and after you manage to kill one of them, it spawns in a bunch of enemies because, of course. Just focus on killing one of them by parrying the skulls, then focus on killing the enemies it spawns. Watch for the stingers too, because if you get hit by one, it's almost over, and if you get hit by both, it's just over. But eventually, after taking this fight much slower than I prefer, I finally did it, and we can move on to the final level of Act 2.
Let's settle this!
Act 2 finishes with a rematch against Gabriel. He's a lot angrier than he was before, so he's significantly more aggressive and quicker. His moveset's changed a little as well, with more unparryable barrages of sword attacks, and he throws his sword a lot more as well. Luckily, those unparryable sword attacks usually end with a parryable move like an extra swipe or a throw. His moveset is less of an issue compared to his speed. His insane speed is difficult to keep up with at times, and you have to really lock in to be able to see his every move so that way you can dodge accordingly. Starting phase 2, he gets even faster and will teleport behind you to throw his swords, so if you weren't good at reaction before this, you'll struggle a lot against him. But eventually, he will die. Ish. Not really. Gabriel is done, With Gabriel defeated, we can move on to nothing. I was too lazy to do the singular layer of Act 3, but to make up for that, I P-ranked every level we've done so far in order to unlock the Prime Sanctums, special hidden levels with bosses and stuff. I've only done the Sanctums a single time on normal difficulty, well over a year ago, so my experience with them was limited. With that in mind, let us begin with P-1. P-1 holds no enemies except for the Flesh Prison. The Flesh Prison is my least favorite boss in the entire game. I would rather fight 3 hideous masses than do this again. So the prison spawns in these floating eyes that you must destroy. If you don't kill them in time, they will heal the prison a ton, and our damage is less than ideal. The prison will also be attacking you by shooting hundreds of homing blue skulls, 3 massive beams of light, and it can summon the black hole of doom and despair. It's also super tanky. I ended up needing to use the auto-aim assist so I could reliably hit the eyes with whiplash so that way I could prevent it healing. After defeating the prison, Minos gets released and also begins fighting you. I turned off auto-aim after killing the prison, by the way. My lack of experience with Minos shows itself fully here as I fail over and over again trying to learn him on the fly. Almost all of his moves are telegraphed with specific dialogue. There's a move where you must circle him and parry the projectile. You must circle him and parry his fist. Is unparryable, and it's when he's launching himself into the ground causing a shockwave. Where he just drop kicks you and that's it. It's easy to parry, but you must be ready for it. Thy End Is Now is the easiest and most consistent move to parry, but when we get to the second phase, all but one of his moves become unparryable. The move you can still parry is Prepare Thyself, the projectile one, which is inconsistent to hit at best. Try your hardest to stay on the floor, and it makes him significantly less annoying to deal with. With Minos defeated, we will move on to the final level that I'll be covering, and let me tell you, it was the worst experience I've had with this game. P-2 starts off with oh god. Okay, stay calm. Surely it's not as bad as I thought. 90 minutes. I did this for 90 minutes straight. I had to listen to this for 90 minutes straight. This was awful. My original plan was to make them throw the ball and hide in a corner, just like before. Naturally, it didn't work out. I ended up just losing my mind, just blindly attacking until it worked. And of course it did, because... The rest of the level is easier, but that's like comparing hell to super hell. So... Next gauntlet isn't that hard, just has an annoying immortal mind flayer and a ton of enemies, plus another immortal mind flayer in addition to the first one, so you know, that's fun. The last gauntlet level is the bane of my existence, had me questioning why I was even doing this. It was the worst part in this entire challenge. You'll see later just how many attempts this level took, and most of them are from this gauntlet. It starts off standard with 4 fodder enemies, 2 swords machine, and a ferryman. But once you kill them, the worst thing ever spawns in. The evil-ass raid boss. A sanded up, immortal, hideous mass, plus 4 sentries at each corner. I genuinely still don't have a strategy for this. Just run rampant and hope for the best. Oh yeah, I should probably mention this part took me around an entire day. I just kept taking breaks and coming back. I couldn't turn off my computer either. Lest I lose my spot in the level and have to go through hell again. I didn't manage to beat this section until I got a full night's rest. Then I beat it in just a few tries. Sisyphus Prime is similar to Minos in a few ways. He has voice lines for most of his attacks and has a similar move to Minos where you must circle him. That move being... You can't escape. His destroy move always confused me and was extremely inconsistent to parry. The absolute best move to parry was his... move. Because it's just so easy. He is extremely fast too, of course, and his second phase makes him even faster, often doing 2 moves immediately after each other with no downtime. But once you manage to keep up with him, he goes down all the same. I feel like I've said that every single fight. Oh my god.